like اسمع ليش فرحان انت ليش قاعد بتكذب.
That was a child in Gaza expressing joy at receiving a single piece of bread. As of today, the UN estimates that over 60,000 children in Gaza suffer from severe malnutrition. That number is rising every day. This is what 9 weeks of complete blockade looks like.
Hunger after days without food feels like a nightmare. It makes me cry and wonder if I will survive.
Here, a typical day is a fight for survival. I wake up not because I'm rested, but because hunger won't let me sleep.
I don't know how they're going to keep going. It's day 65 and they haven't had any food.
Nothing has entered the besieged enclave in the past 2 months, leaving families desperate.
القفص الصدر كليته مبين كليته عظمه والجلده يعني ولا اول طفل يصير فيها زي هيك معاه ولا عمره صار معي زي هيك بحياتي كلها يعني ليه بيصير فينا زي هيك احنا.
These are not isolated stories. This is the reality for families living in Gaza. Dr. Victoria Rose, a plastic and reconstructive surgeon with experience working in Gaza, said,
And the main thing is the malnutrition, and that means that all of these wounds are unlikely to heal because you need essential vitamins and minerals and nutrients for wound healing to occur. So that is the huge sort of backlash from this enforced starvation. So people who could have survived from their injuries are way less likely to survive if malnourished. The other thing that happens in this situation is you're less likely to be able to fight infection. So overwhelming sepsis becomes much more of a problem for us now than it was before.
The World Food Programme also told Middle East Eye that all their food stocks in Gaza have been depleted now as the borders remain closed.
We've delivered the last remaining food stocks to hot meal kitchens in the Gaza Strip, and that was on Friday, the 25th of April. For weeks, hot meal kitchens have been the only consistent source of a meal a day for some of these people.
And it's not because there's no aid. The WFP told Middle East Eye it has 116,000 tons of food just kilometres from Gaza's border, in Egypt, in Jordan, and in Israel itself. It's because Israeli restrictions are stopping it from getting in.
You have the trucks go in, but without the permission, the security guarantees, without the scanning, everything will be shot. At the end of the day, we have to understand that Israel controls the borders.
But why haven't the countries neighbouring Gaza opened their borders? Gaza notables and clans have issued an urgent appeal demanding Egypt open border crossings as famine grips the besieged enclave. Dr. James Smith is a humanitarian policy expert who has previously worked in Gaza as an emergency physician. He shared his view on why this hasn't happened yet.
One of the significant reasons is that the Israeli military continues to occupy the border between Egypt and Gaza. So Egypt could, of course, open the border with Gaza, but that's only one part of the potential solution. The aid then needs to navigate through land occupied by the Israeli military and through a complex web of bureaucratic processes and procedures before it can be distributed to the people that need it the most. Egypt, again, like every other state, has political obligations and in many cases has failed to uphold those political obligations.
The blockade has turned Gaza into what rights groups describe as a giant prison, with no way to grow food, no aid getting in, and livelihoods destroyed. The population is on the brink. This is how Aya al-Hattab, a 23-year-old Palestinian writer living in Gaza, who wrote an article for The Guardian describing the ongoing starvation crisis, describes how hunger feels to her.
Hunger after days without food feels like a nightmare. It makes me cry and wonder if I will survive. I feel like I'm being punished for something I didn't do. I shouldn't be so thin at my age as a young woman, and no one in this world should ever have to endure it.
And this is how Nadira Mushta, a 21-year-old writer living in Gaza, describes her experience as a result of Israel's blockade.
Hunger becomes something deeper than pain. At first, your stomach aches. Then, the pain fades, replaced by weakness. Hunger is not just a physical, It's emotional. You lose your ability to think clearly, and I'm struggling to think or to study or to work and to hope and to feel human, like any human in the world. Hunger means missing a meal, but here and now is how to see your child crying because he wants a meal like the days before the war, like pizza, shawarma, burger. They love to eat, like any child in the world. And this breaks my heart. But under the siege, you can't. You just watch and try not to fall apart.
So what needs to be done imminently? The international community has repeatedly called for an immediate end to Israel's blockade. Even President Trump made this statement on Monday.
We're going to help the people of Gaza get some food. People are starving, and we're going to help them get some food.
But words are not enough.
A lot of the language that I'm using is the same language we were using a year and a half ago, and I think that, we have to continue to try and find words for what's happening in Gaza, or rather what Israel is doing in Gaza, but it's very difficult now. I mean, people are despairing and raging in a way that is difficult to kind of articulate.
But if we could get in now, we could definitely stop any further people from dying, particularly if we could get food and medical equipment in. We could definitely save lives, definitely make a difference.